What is up, you beautiful tile people? It is Friday, and Friday is a happy hour, the Tile Happy Hour, where we hang out and we talk about all things in the tile industry. Sometimes we'll dip our toes into other subjects, but we most of all promise to have fun and enjoy ourselves with the industry we love and the passion that we have. And John, happy Friday. You made it. I know you've had a rough week because you and I have talked this week. Do you have a beverage?
Yes, I literally.
All right. Well, then let me raise a glass to you. The week will get better. And cheers, friend. I've got, once again, my old famous or old favorite, the Jameson. Not sponsored, but we could be.
That's it. We will be. I like you. I like your drink cam there. Pretty cool. What'd you get? Wow, look at those.
Yeah, we got a lot of goodies over here. Got some Tile Happy Hour coasters, because can you really have a happy hour if you don't have a place to put your drink? When that gets tarnished, you just flip it over and you got our ugly mugs on the other side. That way you always know how to find us. Well, and if you're watching live, go ahead. What was that?
No, it's actually a good dartboard also.
Yes. I played darts the other day, and I actually had a good time. But it's a great way to find us, because hopefully you're watching live now, which we are uber excited about. And we want to talk to you because this is not our show. This is your show. We've already got a comment from LinkedIn. Lori Rose, yes, let's rock and roll. John's a little bit rock and roll. I'm a little bit country, and we promise to have a good time and just go through some stuff with the tile industry today. And if you're watching live, we want to hear from you. We want to know what you care about in the industry today. If you're not watching live, I mean, not dead, but you know what I mean, on a playback, we still want to hear from you. There's a comment section. Hit that like button. On either channel, wherever you are, hit a subscribe button. It doesn't cost you any money.
It's true.
I promise.
LinkedIn.
And we'll get back to you, answer your questions. John, tell us a little bit about your week.
I can't. It's been a lot.
It's been great. Yeah, this is a PG show, right? So okay.
No, it's been a great week. It's been pretty busy. This week has been engulfed with the HD Expo, Hospitality Design Expo. Vegas. So that's a really big industry event, and just things in general have been really crazy. This has been, I thought last week was busy. This week was busier, and it's just amazing. So it's good to say hello to everybody in LinkedIn land and Twitter land and
Facebook groups
and YouTube.
And YouTube, my favorite platform, YouTube. John, I want to brighten up your week. I had something happen this week that has never happened before and probably will never happen again. But I'm not bragging by any stretch of the imagination. Sure. But I had a fellow industry person reach out, and their daughter was enjoying our channel.
Wow.
And I wanted to give her a shout out to thank Ellie for watching and learning. And Ellie, I'll throw this picture. She's got a picture. Look at that. How we're on either side. She's got a picture of my face on her water bottle, wandering around somewhere in California. And what I love is she sees how crazy, stupid, passionate I am possibly about the tile industry. And my wife says, I think Ellie's 9, if I remember correctly. That's about my maturity level. So
you guys can relate.
I just love doing what I do, and I have fun doing it. And so I just want to tell whoever's out there listening, if you're not enjoying your job, find something you're passionate at and do it to the best of your ability, and you won't work a day in your life. I don't remember who said that, but it's great advice. So I just want to give a shout out to Ellie. Thanks for liking the channel and jumping in. And hey, maybe one day we'll do a live broadcast and you can be our reporter on the street.
Well, I'd like to say hi to Ellie and thank you for being a fan of our show. That's good news. And yeah, if you if you don't like what you're doing, it's work, right? If if it's a passion, then it's different, right? And
absolutely.
And we both have a passion for the industry, and we have a lot of experience in the industry, and there's a lot of great people. So even though it's a lot of energy, I don't consider it work. I consider just consumes a lot of energy, right, to do, but it's very rewarding because we're in a great industry, and it's really good to see people, for example, like at the HD Expo, the covering show, all these shows that are going on in the industry. It's really pretty cool. And you know what today's day is?
Tell me. Well, I do know what today's day is.
So is it Cinco de Mayo?
Yeah, I was wondering where you're going with that.
Yeah.
And just to let everybody know, this is not scripted. This is live conversation here. So
yeah, I know it's kind of hard to believe. This is such witty conversation. Everyone's going to think this is scripted, but it's not.
That's right. It was written by the best.
Next year, Cinco de Mayo is going to be on, what day of the month, you think?
What day of the month next year? Should be on Thursday.
Okay. All right. Maybe. Well, the thing is this, it's not only
I think the joke was it's going to be on the 5th of May.
You didn't let me have it. Thank you.
Oh, so I just, once again, not scripted. Well, let me ask a little bit of trivia. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. 2 pieces, 2-part question. Right. And for everybody out there, if you got an answer, throw it in wherever you're watching from. That's the wrong title screen. Wherever you're watching from, throw that in the comments. But and if you have a guess on this, what is the most consumed beverage on Cinco de Mayo? It's an easy one.
Tequila?
Partly.
Margarita?
No, Margaritas are the most consumed beverage. Now, I had to write this down because I am really
getting old.
How many margaritas are consumed today?
Oh, in the United States?
Yeah, just a wild guess. I bet your wild guess is not even close.
932,000.
932,000. I don't know. According to my research, and I've worked on this for a long time, off hours, of course, Talbar. Today, the United States will consume 185,000 margaritas per hour.
Per hour?
Per hour.
Wow.
That's what threw me for a loop. I was like, 185,000 margaritas? Okay, I can figure that out. There's 320 million people in the world. Whatever, right. Do the math. Per hour, that is a lot of tequila.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a weird stat, though, because we're not drinking 24 hours. So it is.
Yeah, so you got some hours in there that are like millions per hour, right?
This is true. Do you like margaritas?
I do like margaritas, and I thought about it, of course, late, and I was like, I should probably have a margarita for the show today since it is happy hour, but I didn't think about it in time. When I went out earlier today, I didn't think about the grocery store. I guess I could have bought one of those cheap margaritas in a can, but I did not.
Yeah, that's not worth it. Well, I could save the day for you.
Save the day.
You still haven't had dinner yet, I presume.
I have not.
All right. Today is also National Hoagie Day. Now, being a New Yorker, I don't think I've said the word hoagie more than 3 times in my life, and it really doesn't feel right. I don't feel.
What is that? What is a New York hoagie?
Well, there's no such thing as a New York hoagie, but a hero.
Is it a sandwich? Is it just a sandwich?
Hero? No, it's called a hero. And I know
hero.
I grew up with a hero, and no, it's weird because people from other places like, what do you mean, like Superman, Batman, and we didn't grow up. So hero really doesn't make much sense, but it's very normal for But hoagies, and then there's what about where you're from?
I think a sub. Call it a sub. But I guess since it's Cinco de Mayo, it's called a taco.
Yeah, well, yeah, probably. But out of all of them, hero, sub, grinder, right? What else is there?
Grinder, yeah.
I think the one that really makes sense, again, I can only say hero. I will never use any other, but I think sub makes the best sense because
it looks like a sub.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's round it back out to Cinco de Mayo and our topic for the joke of the day. You ready?
Oh, you got
Why did the tile celebrate Cinco de Mayo?
Wow, don't know.
Because it wanted to show off its Mexican style design and prove that it's not just a square.
Wow,
I wish I had a sound effect for a badumch, but I don't.
Yeah, the sound effect would be a car crashing into a train.
So that is the tile Cinco de Mayo joke of the day. And John, I know last week was HD. I've never been to HD. Can you give me a brief overview on kind of what that expo is about? I know it's not the same as coverings, but a lot of our team was at both. So why is that?
Yeah, well, it was this week actually at the Mandalay Bay Beach Resort in Vegas. I guess it's on the Strip. I guess it's on the south end of the Strip. Yeah,
it's right at the end of the Strip. I've stayed there a few years ago.
And it's called HD Expo and Conference. It's actually really big shows. About 600 exhibitors. Plus, there's vendors, suppliers, manufacturers, and it's geared towards. And I think it's either created by or sponsored by or in affiliation with Hospitality Design Magazine. I assumed it's the same entity, but maybe it's not. But I know
not Home Depot.
No.
See Home Depot. When I see HD, I'm like, we're going to Home Depot.
Yeah. So HD Expo. So if you're a hotel operator, purchaser, developer, architect, designer, specifier, you're going to be at the HD Expo. Basically, hotel, restaurant. That's when we say hospitality. That's what we mean. So all the big guys are there. If you can think of a hotel brand, their team is there scouring. It's really it's interesting because it's a show. It's not a show where a distributor is going to go to find new product. It's the other way around. It's a shopping experience for the specifiers. So covering, that's where it's different. Coverings, for example, or Chevy Sama in Spain or Tresai in Italy, those 3 tile shows are primarily for importers, buyers, suppliers, distributors to go and find the newest products. And a lot of those times things aren't even developed yet. Sometimes they're doing research, these factories.
So it's like a trickle down almost. It's like now they're buying this and now they're presenting kind of what they bought or something else to the next end user almost, or designer for the end user.
Exactly. So that's actually a good way of putting it. This HD Expo show is not it's an end user show, where the coverings and the other trade shows are to the trade who aren't the end users. They're just deciding what they're going to represent. So the HD Expo, you will see, it's like the biggest thing in the world when you see the badges of the Hilton Group or whatever, like these firms come into your booth. That's like a really big deal, and you're always looking out for who's coming into your booth, and you get buyers, and there's some really big players there, and it's actually, some people say, why don't they switch it up and not have it at Vegas every year? And their official reply is, why? We love Vegas. Literally, they love to have it. It is really cool. Mandalay Bay is a big resort. It's I think it's number 10. It's like a 10 or 11 acre facility.
It's huge. Yeah.
And it's the 10th largest hotel.
Really?
Yeah. Take a guess. How many hotel rooms? You have any clue?
I would say in that complex, probably 4,000.
That's pretty close. So they're number 10 on the list. Number 1 is the MGM Grand. Have you been there?
I have walked past it on the Strip, but I've never been in. I do not believe.
So how many people are in your little town where you live?
Little town? I live in Raleigh. I don't have any idea.
Okay. Well,
I know the town I grew up in was 22,000.
Okay. So MGM Grand has 6,852 rooms. And just think about 7,000 rooms.
That's crazy.
Times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people per room, and just think of all the visitors. I mean, it's really amazing.
Well, I mean, you think you've at least got 2 people per room. That's 14,000 people in one building.
And just think of all the workers there, all the visitors.
Oh gosh,
having a little trade show. The gamblers.
And everybody's still hanging out in the casino, smoking it up, which is crazy to me. But
yeah, well, you got to figure 20. It could be 25,000 people in the building at any given time if there's that many, right? Between employees.
Absolutely.
And guests. I mean,
yeah,
it's amazing. So you'll have operators of properties go to the show. It's not a tile show. I mean, tile is heavily represented because tile is a big part of buildings, particularly hotels and restaurants. So, but you'll see, outdoor furniture, products for, carpeting and other flooring, but you'll see things, safes, for the room, anything to do with hotels or restaurants, you will see there. And it's amazing. It's really a great show.
That's not why that's why they didn't invite us for the shows, because it's more than just tile. Is that right? Or did we get an invite and we had to decline because it was?
I got the invite. I don't know about you.
Oh well, okay, good. I bet you did.
But yeah, it's a great show, and it's really so. Tile Bar, we had around 30 of us probably were there. Great team. We had some of our signature designers that design lines for us that were there.
Yeah,
showing some new lines, so that was pretty cool. And
well, I know we've got some more assets for that, but before we jump on, what do you know about tile waterproofing?
Tile waterproofing. Well, I think I know a fair amount about it, but in what context?
Well, in your opinion, do you think tile waterproofing in water areas is important?
Well, it's important, but I think the big question is tile inherently itself, in many, many cases, is waterproof, like a glass tile, right? A porcelain for the most part. So are you talking about the application, the whole system, or are you talking about the actual product?
The whole system. And let me show you what I'm talking about. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Oh! You're sure this is waterproofed, right?
Of course it is. I have been doing this 25 years.
Perfect.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Well,
so I was leading you. I don't know if that's the appropriate podcast live stream term, but I was leading you into my Friday fail.
Right.
And
well, I was scanning through the TV one day and I see a show that I probably watched 35 seconds of it. And if I see it, I just go really fast past it. Dr. Pimple Popper or something like that.
There's gosh, I can't. Yeah. My wife likes that. I can't.
No, I can't. And I can't. So anyway, a couple of those reminded me of that show.
Yeah.
That was
that as I was thinking, I like to do that on Friday just to have fun, because as I spoke about earlier, I'm just a kid at heart, 9-year-old in a grown man's body with bills. But waterproofing is so important. And speaking of hotels, like we were just talking about, where you've got 7,000 rooms,
right? You've
got 7,000 possible waterproofing failures or leaks.
Right.
And what is, as products have gotten better and as hopefully our training has gotten better, there's still some people out there that, just like you said, even though I know this is not what you meant, they think tile is waterproof. But you put tile in a shower, and yes, the tile is going to reflect that water back into the drain. But if you don't seal your drain correctly, and you don't seal your corners correctly, it makes for a mess. And when you have a building of Mandalay Bay or MGM, I'm not sure where those pictures, I found those and kind of spliced them together, but where they are, you can cause a huge mess. And I've seen it as a contractor, where you've got all these rooms that are all the same. And if you've got somebody in there that thinks they know what they're doing, they can get a few floors into a building before you figure out there's a problem. And
well, you know
that's happened to me.
It's probably the biggest liability for a hotel, for example, a multi-story building. Yeah, fire is probably the biggest, like most, life-threatening kind of thing. But outside of a fire, you have a shower, a tub, a bathroom sink, a toilet. You may have, a kitchen sink if there's an efficiency in the room. There's so many places for water, being fed into that room, and an inch of water could do a tremendous amount of damage, and sometimes a lot more than an inch. But so if there's a tile that's waterproof, and most tiles themselves by themselves are sort of waterproof, but that's why I asked, right? The system. So if the tile is installed even without grout, it shouldn't leak into the floor below, right? It should be stopped by the substrate.
Right, the system, and there's probably hundreds of different ways to do it, but if it's not done correctly, water is sneaky.
What would you do? Like, you were building what system would you use? A type of system?
If I were building a hotel, I would use a mud bed floor with a drain I could get to. I would waterproof.
You're talking about the shower, like the main bathroom floor?
The main bathroom floor is not normally a concern because water doesn't go out there. I'm just talking about the shower. I would use your standard sand and cement mixture on the floor. I'd slope it to the drain. I would then use a topical roll-on waterproofing. My favorite is Laticrete Hydroban. Not sponsored, but and then I would use a waterproof board, Laticrete Hydroban board, and
hearing voices from somewhere.
Yeah, and I would tie it all together. Now that system is not the most economical. I just say it. It is not the cheapest system, but in my opinion, it is the easiest to install, and it works.
Right, but when you say the coating, that first thing is the topical coating. When you roll it on with a roller.
Mm-hmm. You can roll it on with a roller, a paintbrush. You can trowel it on.
How soon can you do that after you're putting your mud down? Like, the mud has to be dried.
Yeah, the mud has to be dry. So that depends on some environmental. If it's really humid, it may take 2 days. Right. If there's good air moving in there, normally after a day, you want to make sure your mud bed is fully cured, and then you got that roll on in there. Tie it into your drain correctly. That is where a lot of people fail. They don't tie the waterproofing into the drain. It sinks down and it leaks down that pipe, and it drip, drip, drip. In about 6 months, you have a pimple to pop in the room below.
Right.
But that's what I'd use. But I will say, I'm not a fan of this because I'm a tile nerd. Most hotels are going to the prefab pans, and I know why. They're easy to install. They're relatively cheap. They're making them now where they're not cheap looking. So I would say if probably I was in charge of a hotel, I would probably get voted down, and they would put a prefab pan in there.
You mean like a one piece made out of something, just acrylic or fiberglass or some kind of
acrylic, fiberglass, terrazzo is what they used to use back in the day. Those are expensive, but they're nice. That's probably, I would say that is probably the number one commercial shower floor to date. And I have no data to back that up.
Got it. And then what about the walls?
The walls, I'm a big fan of the foam board, and because most of the foam boards are already waterproof.
What happened to Wonder Board? Wonder Board was all the rage 30 years ago.
Wonder Board is great, but then you have to waterproof it, and it's also heavy. The new foam boards, Hydroban board, are really nice because they're lightweight. You can carry a whole bundle of them. One person can. They're easy to cut. They're already waterproof.
Wait,
then all you have to
stuff.
How do you what?
How do you cut it?
You cut it with a razor knife.
Wow.
You can almost cut it with a butter knife, but it's really nice and easy Easy. Like I said, I think I've said this before, is I installed my mom's shower by myself while drinking. Drink in one hand and the board in the other hand, and it hasn't leaked yet. So, and if I can do it, you can do it.
That explains a lot.
But that does explain a lot. But that would be my preferable treatment. But I will say, if you're a contractor, I was going to say a constrictor. If you're a contractor out there, use what you know how to install. And if you don't know how to install it, practice or take a class, because the worst thing you can do is fail in a high risk area, or even just someone's home that, may.
Well, the exposure is huge.
It's terrible.
You're responsible for the damages, and it's really bad. So yeah, it's really good advice to do that. And I find that these high rises really, all the big players have been through it all, right? They've been through damages. So I think they're pretty much on the cutting edge, and they're always looking for new techniques. You just got to be careful, on the back end, so the installer doesn't cut corners or follow instructions properly.
Yeah,
it's only as good as the last person, touching the material. So
yeah, as I told the team the other day, I said, you can have the best material in the world, and if it's installed in the wrong place or installed incorrectly, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it gives the whole industry a black eye.
No.
So I'm not sure if they talked about waterproofing at HD Expo, but that was where my mind was this week.
Yeah, it's really not really a technical show in that regard. It is a conference, so there's a lot of business seminars, but not unlike coverings where they have a lot of super technical, hands-on workshops.
Right.
Yeah. There. But I think those kind of things are going on in the booth. You'll have, an exhibit, a hotel operator come in and ask, and you tell them the solution to the problem that you probably think that they have, and they're all ears.
Yeah.
You could save them some exposure, you could save them some money, or give them some efficiencies. Absolutely. It's a great show. Nice products there.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. I know that there was a lot of nice products there, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but last week at coverings, factories and manufacturers introduced new products. And I think if I'm reading all the stuff correctly, at HD Expo, the distributors were introducing new products. Is that kind of a fair assessment?
Yes. So let's talk about Tile Bar, for example. Tile Bar had products that are super hot, that are live, ready to be specified and shipped. And
right.
There are products that are in the works that are definitely coming out. The show comes once a year. It may not be launched yet, but it's coming. But
right.
these projects, a lot of these projects are 2, 3, 4 years before you need product.
Oh yeah.
And then we definitely had some products there that were kind of prototypes, testing the water, and we do some test marketing also. So
what do you mean testing the water? Explain kind of what that means.
So we may be in the beginning phases of designing a new product, and sometimes we'll reserve some space at the booth to show some products, and maybe we want to see where the reactions are. Maybe we have a new line and we're showing 8 colors, but we really want to only produce 6 colors. So maybe we'll show all 8, and you'd be surprised. Let's just say someone in our team is like, "Oh, we don't need orange tile, right?" And the 8th color is orange, and everyone's like, "We've got."
I love this orange.
And then if all of a sudden everyone's coming to the booth and touching and feeling, and they're like,
right,
this is cool, we really need this. So we are often pleasantly surprised. It's kind of market research, really. And here you have all the players in the entire industry all in one room, for a few days. And so it's really good spot for market research. It's really cool.
And so what you're saying is that's not just us doing that. We're not just, that's kind of every vendor that's there is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know for a fact, but I would
sure
think that some vendors do that. Some may not. Maybe their industry is not like that, but ours is definitely because our products, the tile products, there's a lot of flexibility, right, in colors and finishes and sizes, and textures. So it's really a good. We have so much to offer and so many different techniques, and so it's really helpful for us. It's good. It's pretty cool to see the process.
Well, I know I trolling Tile Bar on Instagram, we had some designers represented, and I have a video I think you sent me. You want to take a look at that?
Oh yeah, sure. Let's check it out.
Now this is
Elizabeth Sutton. She designed
okay.
This is four lines. Now this is a fifth line, and this is a glass, kind of like an art glass in a chevron pattern. Super fun. Wall tile only. Mirror glass, lots of color. She's definitely all about color, and you can see here.
Yeah, I see. She's wrong button. Not only about color in the tile that she's chosen, but also seems to be very vibrant. And I'm assuming that's her design style. I'm a dumb contractor, so tell me, tell me a little bit. We're obviously not sponsored by Tile Bar, but we know a lot about it. How does that relationship work?
So for example, Elizabeth Sutton is really, I believe she's a painter first. She's an artist overall.
Oh, okay.
Many different mediums. And, somehow we became to know each other, right? And talked about, because we Tile Bar can go to a factory and have something designed for us. So of course we've designed things internally. The CEO of our company's designed products, phenomenal products. But often we'll have a product that's designed, like Stacy Garcia, who's well known in the hospitality world. She does designs wallpaper, fabrics, things like that.
Right.
And so we'll have designers design for us, and sometimes they're not tile designers first. They're just designers, or they're creators, and they're very inspirational. And we create those lines and put out a line that's kind of our designer collection. So we have a bunch of designers that are doing that, and it's very, very successful. And then, it's fun because they come to the shows and they're there to show off their stuff, and everyone loves. Right. They're probably sick
and I'm assuming they probably, I'm not saying they bring an entourage, but they bring some name recognition, not only in the tile world, but the design world. And that is important to architects and engineers that are designing these hotels.
What do you think the most common question someone asks a designer about the product on the wall that they designed? And they're probably sick of hearing.
How did you come up with that?
Yes, but in another way. What's your inspiration?
Oh, yeah, okay. I'm not highbrow enough to know what that is.
Yeah.
I was conceived in a trailer park. So
you're like, how you do that?
Yeah, like how you do that? Where'd that come from? Did you make that up? So it's yeah. And but
then the answer is, I was on vacation with my friend in Venice on a gondola, and
the sun was going down, and the colors.
And I came up with Meta. That was her design. I don't know if that was her inspiration. Probably not. Probably a bad guess. But her Meta.
Well, you've got to expect that as a designer. Just as I expect every time I meet somebody, they're gonna say, "I'm getting ready to do a backsplash. Can you help me with some tile?" I mean, it's the same thing.
Well, sometimes their response may be money. I'm designing this line. I want it to be successful. And I mean, that's an underlying motivation, but
sure.
But inspiration is usually from something. It's usually something from nature, right? And that line is really phenomenal. We actually did preview that at a previous show, and it went over very well at BDNY last year.
Okay, I'm familiar with. I've never been to that show, but I'm familiar with that one because I think they stole my tagline this past year, "Tile the World," and nobody asked me. But I haven't. I mean, I've been talking to lawyers about it.
Okay.
But we're just gonna keep that.
Well,
I'm trying to flip through our deck. Which one that we have here that you're talking about?
So BDNY.
Pull it up on the screen.
BDNY is kind of like the East Coast version of HD Expo, boutique design. Okay. It's at the Javits Center, so it's East Coast, and the same thing. It's boutique design, so they're inferring smaller, but the big players are there too, but not necessarily as much as Vegas.
That's in Chicago, or no, NY. What's the one in Chicago? There's a big one in Chicago.
Well, there's a merchandise mart that's there. There's a bunch of shows. Oh, Chicago's a great place for trade shows.
Yeah, I remember when I was last time I went to coverings in Chicago, right after we were leaving the big one that rents that big building. I can't remember the name of it now.
McCormick Place. I don't know the name of the show. Do we have any other products?
Yeah, well, I got an Instagram of a kind of a walkthrough of our booth. You want me to throw that up?
Yeah, we have a nice booth. It was really
nice. There it goes. So that's our booth there, and I know last year we won the best booth in the world. I think was the tagline. I know they can't do that 2 years in a row, but
it was in the Milky Way. I think.
Best booth in the Milky Way. So this year, I know we won't win that just because there's politics involved, but it's pretty impressive. There's some pretty neat stuff.
A lot of fraud in that. People like in the soccer leagues. You got to.
Yes.
Can't win that more than once every few years.
So the whole Shoeless Joe, I think, was involved. But now tell me, and I think I've heard this through some of our conversations back and forth. And what you just said, some of these are not in stock yet. Yeah, some of these we're just testing the waters.
Most of these are live. Like there's the Meta. It may not be live on our website today, but it will any moment. The Autograph, the Kinsey, the Magna.
Really cool stuff.
A lot of.
I see Wilder there. Is that Olivia Wilde? Who is that? That's another designer.
I'd like to show. Do we have any still pictures of some of the products?
Yeah. Absolutely, man. I got all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff. This is slide number 4, so I don't know if you want to go back to number 1. I know we can't talk about all of it, but there was one thing I just switched plats real quick.
So this is. Why'd you put the same product twice there?
Well, I thought the exact same thing, but then I looked at it. One is tile and one is LVT. Now that's pretty slick there. I think I don't think we're trying to pull something over somebody's head, but I think there was a good reason behind this.
Well, there is a good reason, and it's ingenious. And we are, I think, the innovators of this concept, our CEO, because. So let me tell you more about this. So
tell me.
I'm a rep, and I help designers and architects and specifiers find the right product at the right price, on time and in budget. That's my elevator special.
I like it.
Yeah, pitch, by the way. So I'm working with a firm. They're designing an office building, and they need products for their floors. They love tile. They love porcelain. They love that Bond green tile on the left side, right? They love it. But they're not the ones paying the bills, and they often have budgets, to follow. But of course, as you know, as things move on and as reality evolves, sometimes budgets change, right? So you may specify the Bond porcelain tile and then design everything else in that project around that green tile, paint, furniture, all sorts of things, and that's great. Once in a while, the budget gets slammed and they need to go away from tile into a flooring that's more economical, such as a high quality, commercially rated luxury vinyl flooring product like an LVT. So in this scenario, nothing changes except the cost of the material. All the designs can remain. So this is really ingenious. Really is amazing.
Absolutely.
So
what I see in just coming from a maintenance and use perspective is where you're from, you have a lot of high-rise buildings.
Right.
And I would assume, just like we do here, you design the lobby that's street level and you spend most of your budget there.
Okay.
And so you could use all that on the first street level and then everything above it consistent, and all the other floors you can still have the same color scheme, but have I foresee that being a possibility. Also,
you know what? That's really a number two reason of using this line is in the entranceway, you're not going to put, LVT on the first floor of a lobby in Manhattan. Just never going to happen. So, but the design aesthetic could remain the same throughout the building. Put the porcelain where you need it, in the entrance, in the kitchen, in the bathroom floors, whatever. And then in the common areas, you can use an LVT product. So it doesn't have to be the scenario where, okay, LVT is just the backup. It could be strategically part of the design where you have the budget for porcelain, where porcelain could cost $5 to $10 a square foot for a good quality porcelain. A good quality LVT is under $5 a square foot. So right there's a significant price difference in materials. Labor, a whole nother animal. It's probably a bigger disparity, right? Labor has to be
absolutely
$20 a square foot, $15 or whatever, depending on your market and the quantity, where LVT could be similar to the cost of the goods.
Yeah, $4 to $5.
Yeah, and much less if it's volume, depending on the market. So there's a big difference in installation costs. So you brought up a really, really good point. And I would like to think that's a really good use of it. If you look on the top right, you'll see, and what we did was we picked some of our best-selling porcelain products and created an LVT to coordinate with it. So you see it says cement look, a wood look. Rizzo's a terrazzo look, right? So there's a Spokane. So you'll see, Spokane, that's one where I don't think we have a matching tile for, but the other two, the cement and the wood and the Rizzo, there's coordinating types of products. And that scenarios that we went through in the option 1 and option 2 is a reason to do this. If you're an LVT,
once again, Tile Bar leading the market.
Well, you know what? Yes, because we're really creative, we're gutsy, and we're a tile company designing LVT. Most of the big players that are out there are LVT companies first. And
let me. I would like to. Say that in my experience, instead of embracing the LVT industry, most of the manufacturers and distributors that I've worked with in the past would badmouth it. Nah, it'll never last. It'll never do this. It'll never do that. And 5 years ago, or probably 10 years ago, that was the common theme. Then 5 years ago, it's not going to last. Innovators embrace the change and are nimble enough to pivot. And I think that is where you've got to continue to change. You look at, Ford's not still making the black Model T anymore.
Right.
They had to do something different. And
I heard they're making it electric. That's what they're doing. Changing.
Well, I think so. They're still working on the battery change out. So I think that's a great business model. Is sometimes you've got to embrace the things that are taking your market share to take that market share back. And the great thing about being an innovative company, just do it and do it better than everybody else. And you're going to gain market share. It's not going to be a net equal. It's going to be a net gain over time. And that's so exciting to see that, and to see a company kind of taking that on and jumping into the LVT market, even though they're a tile company.
Right. And one of the reasons to point that out is that tile, in my opinion, has always been a higher fashion product, right? Designed by the Italians and Spaniards, right? There's a lot all over the world, but those are good examples. There's so much design and creativity. LVT, I think, started as a real super commercial, basic looking material that slowly started developing in, hey, can we make it look a little nicer? Where tile started off in many ways, in many countries, as a super decorative product. And so here I feel the tile world, or Tile Bar specifically, is making the LVT world better. We're taking our energy, our creativeness. For example, we're coming out with a line. I don't know if it's in any of our pictures, but Stacy Garcia designed an LVT line with the chevron pattern and a parquet look. And it is just amazing. So here we are. We're bringing our high style. I don't think it's any of these pictures. Well,
I don't think so either. I thought Maybe those two at the bottom.
Those two are it. So that chevron straight ahead in the middle, that's Stacy Garcia's chevron. Sometimes designers take an LVT or porcelain and they tell the installer, I want you to install it on a chevron and cut it. And they're like, yeah, great. And then they start.
I'll be glad to do that. I'm just going to triple my cost.
If you're lucky, triple, right?
Yeah.
And it's insane. That is an LVT tile that is literally 12 inches wide by 48 inches tall, I believe. And you don't know where it starts and ends, and it looks amazing. Look how nice that is. That is so cool. And it's funny because I looked at those pictures briefly before, and I didn't even notice that was the LVT. That's how good it is.
Yeah, I agree. I think the innovation of that is, once again, it's bringing that LVT into a, gosh, I can't think of the word now. When you cut your budget, it's gone from a budget cutting material to a specified material.
Yeah. Can you enlarge that a little? Because I want to show on the bottom right, you'll see that's a 12-inch. That's LVT on the bottom right. That's a Stacy Garcia line.
And
it's 12 inches by 24 inches. You wouldn't know by looking at that. You couldn't tell what that is. And if you look at the pattern, it kind of mimics a parquet floor with, I think, 3 planks, about 4 inches wide, about 18 inches long, and then 20 inches long with a 4-inch horizontal piece. And then you put them all together, and it creates this parquet pattern. And then what you don't see, actually you do see it on the left of that board. You'll see a plain piece, so it comes in planks also. So you could design, say, a hotel or a lobby or some kind of amenity space with LVT with that parquet pattern, but then maybe in the hallway you don't want to do the parquet, you want to do just planks like of wood, just like
right.
And so there's a lot of different options on that, and I'm glad that we had pictures of that, because that's a really super good example of Tile Bar elevating the luxury vinyl world. And we call it LVT. I kind of call it luxury vinyl flooring, because I don't even look at these as tiles. I just look at it as flooring, luxury vinyl.
Yeah, and there's, I mean, I was on a call the other day. They were arguing about luxury vinyl tile versus luxury vinyl plank. I'm like, it's the same thing. It's just, a plank just designates the shape, really. Right. I had one more video kind of showing the outside of the booth. Let's watch that, and then we'll close up our HD talk. Let's see. Pull that in. Bam. I don't know why it's there's music. So this is the outside of the booth kind of going in. There's some people we recognize. So it's a pretty big facility also. I don't know that I've been in the convention center at the Mandalay Bay.
Yeah, it's really great.
Yeah, it's not much to that, just kind of showing what it is.
Yeah, the booth is really nice, very welcoming, and a lot of people came in the booth that were like super excited. Now, somebody commented, I see there, where can I find these on your website? I'm wondering if they were looking for something specific, because there are products in these videos that aren't on our website yet. But
Johnny Rocket Fireworks. I mean, Johnny needs to tile his fireworks store. And he needs some tile for his fireworks store. It looks like it was a successful trip.
It's a really great show. I think Tile Bar was well represented there, and a lot of the word on the street is that there's so many projects. What's really cool at these shows is to get people come into the booth and say, I'm already using your product. So that product I specified last year is just phenomenal. And Tile Bar and all the vendors, no matter what you're selling, they're selling chairs. It's good to get that feedback, and it's really been great. And it's really fun covering these shows on our podcast. We have more shows to come in the future.
Absolutely. I mean, I haven't gotten the invite yet to Chersai. Or why is it pronounced Chersai and it's spelled with a C? I don't understand.
Well, CE in Italian is a ch sound. So CE is a ch sound. So chur, And it's really not a word. It's an acronym of CERSAIE. And it's a society. It's the group of the society that puts this show together.
So it's not a town. So if I got there, my Uber driver, I said, take me to Trasai, they wouldn't know.
They would not, well, they may know the show because Trasai is the biggest show at the Bologna Fairgrounds.
Right.
But it's not a town. It's just the name of the show.
But they may not understand because I don't speak Italian.
They're going to tell you, sir, there's no McDonald's here. Sorry, we don't.
That's
have
right.
Actually, I did get McDonald's at the Bologna train station and a burger and a glass of wine. So that was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. I've never been to Bologna. I've been to Florence, and I stayed in Carrera for a week or so working on a project, which was pretty amazing.
If anyone has a chance to get to Carrera up north where the stone heavens are, right? So many beautiful mountains there.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Michelangelo got his stone all from up there, and it was pretty.
Yeah.
And there's the Verona Trade Show, which that would be a great show to cover. Verona Trade Show.
Yeah. So give us a call. We'd be glad to broadcast live there. Verona.
Available.
Versailles.
If somebody wants us to do like an on-site at their booth.
Absolutely.
I'm up for it.
Absolutely. On site, we'll broadcast live. Whatever you need. All we need is invitation and internet cable.
Exactly. And
we can do it.
Well, you know what? This has been a great Cinco de Mayo. It's still not over. So everyone, I wish everyone has a great night. Have a nice margarita tonight. I'd like to wish everybody peace, health, and happiness.
Absolutely, John. Yes, and let's always remember to waterproof everything completely and carefully. Enjoy your trade show, and don't forget, let's keep learning together and tile the world.